What's up, Eta Gang? Welcome into Dap Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. Huge smile on my face here. That intro gets me ready to party every single time I hear it. Want to just take the opportunity to say thank you to everybody for tuning in here for our World Mobile Saturdays, where we're going to be diving deep into the DePIN and the sharing economy. Of course, I cannot do this by myself. And today, we've got a very special guest coming in here representing the World Mobile team. Now, unfortunately, he has been embargoed by none other than Embargo Mike, but we are going to squeeze out as much information out of him as we can. But before we get to our guest, let me go ahead and bring up our two co-hosts. First and foremost, we've got Rob, aka Trek Pool. Rob, how are you, man?
Good. It's a bright sunny day out today.
Yes.
Got a little bit of sun out. We took the kids to the park and got a little redder than normal. So things are going good.
You look just as good as you normally do to me, so I cannot tell. But yeah, I'm enjoying the sunshine here too. I am a summer kind of person, and I'm super excited to finally be transitioning out of the winter time. Now let's keep the conversation rolling here. Let's go ahead and bring up our second co-host, none other than Cal, aka Clover Notes. What's up, man?
Doing good, guys. How are you?
You got the double. I
The
can't even get
double.
one.
The double trouble. Triple trouble.
Yeah, you doing okay?
I'm doing excellent, guys. Enjoying the nice and sunny weather here in California. It's been very, very hot, but I do like it.
I feel like you guys are blessed in the sense that you always have summertime, or I guess technically it's always summertime. Unfortunately, there was the fires there recently, but hopefully things have been, a little bit better in the last couple of months. But just want to take the opportunity just to say thank you to both of you for making the time here. I know we've got a jam-packed show, so I don't want to take up any more time. There's a really, really interesting guest here that I'm excited to learn more about, again, directly from the World Mobile team. So I'll turn it over to you, Cal. I know you've done a little bit of the background work here, to get the guest here on the show, and I want to give you the opportunity to go ahead and introduce him.
Yeah, so today we are honored to be joined by Nick Soper. He's one of the co-founders of World Mobile, and Nick has been instrumental in building the vision and mission behind World Mobile to connect the unconnected and to create a more inclusive and decentralized internet. And he does bring a wealth of experience, passion, and insight when it comes to blockchain and real world infrastructure. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Nick, and I want to thank him for being here. Hello, Nick.
Hey, everybody.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to join us. Again, we know that you and the majority of the team, right? You guys are working around the clock. You guys are a global team, scattered all around the world. And for you guys to be able to make the time to join us on these shows, it really does mean a lot to me, and I'm sure to Rob and Cal as well. So yeah, without any further ado, I'll sort of be driving behind the scenes here. I'll let Cal and Rob lead and guide today's conversation in terms of the questions. And of course, you, Nick, you'll be on the hot seat here. And as I mentioned earlier, no pressure. We realize that you've been embargoed to an extent, and there's only so much that you can share, right? And you have to keep things under wraps. So don't feel pressured at all, but I'll be monitoring comments and things like that. And if there's anything that you cannot answer, again, don't hesitate to share that with us. So without any further ado, I'll turn it back over to Cal and Rob to guide us and kick us off.
All right. Well, let's get the show started. Again, Nick, thank you so much for being here, for joining the the World Mobile Alliance show. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun today to learn a little bit more about you and what you do for World Mobile. So get this started. And I want to find out. The first question is, how did you get into the crypto and the blockchain space?
That was many years ago. I was sitting at a bar down here in Cape Town, and a friend of mine started explaining to me about blockchain, and then he moved on to the Bitcoin halving, and then he went on to explaining this like trustless situation where you can do an exchange between two people without an intermediary to process it, and that got me hooked.
That's awesome. That reminds me of how I started in the crypto space. It was a while back ago, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. It's such an exciting space to be in, and maybe tell us a little bit more about what led you to joining World Mobile, and how did you get involved with Mickey and the other co-founders of World Mobile?
So, very long story, but basically, I'm at university. I met Mickey at university. He was on the same course as me. The course we were doing was called Media Lab Arts, which is like a car crash between computer science and conceptual art. So we would be given tools and skills to code and design, and then would be given some kind of art theory, and then they'd ask us to make something creative with all this tech. And that's how I met Mickey. And then what happened was the course kind of forked into two paths. So in the third year, you could go work in the industry for a year and come back and get honors, or you could just go straight to the last year and not get the honors. So I chose to go work in the industry, and Mickey went the other route. Uh, and while I was away, he became very close with my twin brother Andy, who's also a co-founder. So we remained like well, not really close, but like pretty close after university. And eventually, what happened was I had booked off a whole year to try and start a business by myself. And I had about a year's runway. And I think it was March, April time of that year that I got this random call from Mickey. He was like, "Hey, bro," as Mickey does, like, "I've got this crazy idea. Have you got any free time?" So it was very serendipitous that I'd already booked off the year to try to figure out what on earth I wanted to work on for the next period of my career. And yeah, as Mickey did, he got me hooked.
I have to I have to jump in here. I want to hear about how Mickey was as a student. Um, what kind of student was
Exactly
he
the
in
same.
college?
Exactly the same. So Mickey was always a great ideas guy, and he'd come up with some wild and wacky and creative ideas that were way too visionary for us as students to ever implement. Yeah, so as it is now, I was the guy that would help deliver on his vision, and I did my best in those group works with him. Um, but I must say, Mickey, working with him on World Mobile, the way that man has grown and become a true leader, not just in the business but in the industry, it's blown me away, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely a visionarian. I know I've spoken about this before, but he and I shot an interview. This was back at a Rare Evo. I want to say it was about a year and a half ago. And me, as a creator, I shot a lot of interviews that day, but we sat down for 45 minutes. Halfway through the interview, I ran out of memory. And of course, Mickey has a very, very tight and a very busy schedule. But this was something that really showed me his true colors. After speaking for 20 to 25 minutes, where we had no footage or nothing was being recorded, I asked him, "Hey, Mickey, I am so sorry. Everything that we just literally spoke about was not recorded, and we did it all over again." And after that moment, I realized, I was like, man, this is a different type of person. A lot of CEOs, a lot of founders, they wouldn't give you that second chance. But we literally reshot that interview, and the second time around, it was even longer. And so that just spoke volumes about his character. And so that's why I wanted to sort of hear about your perspective. And it sounds like he was the very same person even back then in the early college days. So Kyle, I hate to sort of derail you there, but I just wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that. Thank you for sharing, Nick. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so it sounds like you and Mickey and the rest of the team have known each other for a while, for a very long time. I mean, if I can share a personal story here as well. I mean, when we visited Reno, Nevada, and when we were up there with you, your brother, Mickey, and the rest of the team, I mean, you can feel that synergy and that connection that you guys have had for a very, very long time, and it almost feels like a family bond here. And this is what to me makes World Mobile very, very special. So it's good to hear that the connection started so early, and when you build out a company and when you work with people, I mean, I work with my family and my personal business, and you know, a lot of people say, hey, don't mix family with business, but I disagree, because the people that you trust most in this life are the people that are closest to you, and that's what you see here with World Mobile. I did look up your X profile, Nick, and it looks like you founded another company called Atomic Access. So was this before or after you started building World Mobile? And can you tell us a little bit about Atomic Access and how it came to life in Cape Town?
Yeah, sure. So the story starts a little bit before. I kind of talked about it a bit earlier. I was working at a fintech startup here in South Africa for a couple of years. I was the head of marketing, and I helped them go from about 1,800 merchants to about 20,000 merchants. And I was kind of burnt out, and that's why I wanted to book off the year to figure out what I wanted to do. Um, so I think it was about in January, February, another friend of mine gave me a call and said, "Hey, I've got this crazy idea. Have you got any time?" Um, and his idea was simply fiber ISPs in South Africa sucked, and why don't we build something we can use ourselves? So we we started the company and registered it really quickly, and it was well before World Mobile started. And I eventually had to take a step back because of World Mobile. So that company now pretty much runs itself. There's a team of about 10, 11 people, and the co-founders I helped start the business with are still there. But they understand that I had to focus on World Mobile.
That's pretty cool. And hopefully we get to see a synergy between Atomic Access and World Mobile, because we know how important fiber is to backhaul. So do you foresee uh, World Mobile possibly entering the South African market?
Well, I don't want to get into it too much. We do talk about it a lot. So I was talking with Charlie about it on Thursday. I've talked to Mickey about it multiple times. And the reason I don't want to get into it is the regulatory environment in South Africa is quite tricky for what World Mobile want to do. I've got some ideas of how it would be better, and some opportunities with people that are doing some really interesting stuff. But in terms of the fiber offering that Atomic offers, it's not really meant to be used for backhaul. And the dark fiber services, which are meant for backhaul, are a very different product and a lot more expensive. But then again, so the skills I learned from Atomic are very transferable to World Mobile. So learning about the tech stack, the BSS OSS stuff, the billing, the support process has been really useful. But I must say, cellular and standard telecoms networks are very different beasts. So
Right.
not truly one for one transferable.
Right. And before I give the chance to Rob to ask you a few questions, I just want to mention to the audience that there is, and to you, Nick, that there is a lot of potential Hex Guardian, listeners here. And we did start a Discord. So if you wouldn't mind, maybe one day you can join this Discord. And once we get closer to HD1 launching, maybe you can give some like insights to how this business works and how to approach, companies with fiber around the world and things of that nature. I'm sure it would be valuable for other people to learn more about your experience.
Yeah, and if I could jump in there, like we get requests from people that want to do backhaul and they want to extend World Mobile's network. And geez, it's terrible that we can't just say yes to everyone. We'd love to. Yeah, but the problem is telecommunications is regulated. We need to be a little bit careful. We can't overstretch. So yeah, it's all coming. It's coming.
And I just want to take the opportunity just to quickly plug in your X profile. So for the viewers, if you guys are not already following Nick on X, I've gone ahead and just left the link there in the live chat. Please take the opportunity, show some support here, give this man a follow. A lot of valuable and credible information coming directly from the team, right? So it's not like anybody else. And please don't take this the wrong way, but anytime that someone like me, Rob, or Cal post, we aren't official members of the team, right? So do keep that in mind. But someone like Nick is, so make sure to give him a follow here. Again, I've left the link to his X down below. I believe, Rob, you are up next.
So you told us a story about how you got involved with World Mobile, how you met Mickey, and how you and your brother kind of came into the whole thing. What do you do at World Mobile? What's your title, position? What does your day to day look like? I mean, we'd like to see kind of an overview of how Nick is directly involved in World Mobile.
Well, I'll rewind a little bit more to my previous career. So my skill set is design, coding, analytics, strategy, and I'm a methodical builder, and I love building things with a strong foundation that it doesn't break. I hate rework basically. So that's kind of my background. And when Mickey and Alan got in touch the first time, the obvious place for me to start was the brand. So my very first project was the original World Mobile logo that survived for quite a while. It was the one on the front of the Fulham shirts. So that was a pretty proud project for me. And then at the beginning, I was very much involved in just about everything. And then, yeah, as we grew, my responsibilities started to lean into the things that I'm passionate about, which is solving problems and helping people. So my title's co-founder and VP of support, but I have the design team that report to me, and the support team. There's two support teams. So there's the support team in Europe and the support team in the USA. So yeah, I have very long days basically, and then yeah, just keep on top of all the projects through the standard daily meetings and stand-ups that we have.
I will say I was a very, very big fan of the prior logo, and I see you rocking it here very,
That's the
very
old office.
nicely. Yeah, looks good on you. Looks good on you. Anyway, Rob, back over to you.
So, being that you're in South Africa and have been around the African continent, we've seen things that you've recently done in places like Kenya. What can you tell us, like what you're doing in Africa to help build up World Mobile there, kind of overall? We'll get into the school in Kenya and the Giggle Academy in a little bit, but just kind of broad overview, like, do you have a mission base in Africa that you are helping, whether it's Zanzibar, Mozambique, other places?
Well, yeah, so we've got the Zanzibar operation. However, Zanzibar telco regulation requires all those activities to be an island, both figuratively and literally. For example, the telephone lines have to be hosted in the office. The email tickets have to be in the office. And that's a regulation. So as an international company, we can't have somebody in Europe or the USA actually helping out with supporting the customers in Zanzibar. So yeah, we keep an eye on them. Obviously, we try to keep the standards as high as possible. However, Swahili is not my first language, so we kind of do our best. And that network is growing, and yeah, it's pretty mature. So I think it's been talked about quite a lot through the marketing channels. We do have an office and a company in Kenya, and we use that for projects and to get access to the regulators. We have publicly talked about Mozambique and the activities there. So I think we obviously choose the path of least resistance, and that tends to be the regulatory framework in each location and how open people are to running experiments and trying new things.
Like, excuse me there. I apologize. With where you're currently at, I'd love to maybe just ask about like priorities and then reception. What is World Mobile's perception out there?
Well, that's hard to answer because when I go there personally, I'll be there as part of a rollout, or like Mickey is there, like using it in front of the camera. Um, it's difficult to get the this overall what's the marketing word, like the net promoter score of a brand, but it seems to be well received. But internally, we're fighting tooth and nail to make everything better the whole time. At the moment, one of the big projects is, I don't know if I can say, but the public Wi-Fi project, basically, and how much that's improved and been optimized to make it just super simple and um, compatible with the local payment gateways and the local advertisers that are willing to pay a little bit so that somebody can get a free bundle. So yeah, it's I could say it's going great, but we're always working harder to make it better.
Awesome, and thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if Rob was up next or maybe if it was Cal. I didn't mean to jump in there.
I'll go next. Yeah. So, it's interesting how all of these different places in Africa, have different regulations, and how you guys as a team are leveraging all of that, and going about these places and doing it so well, actually. So kudos to that, to the entire team. Recently, though, we saw you and your brother Andy go into a school in Kenya. So I'm sure a lot of our listeners are going to want to hear about that. How did that come about? Walk us through the experience. How did this idea take shape?
So if you remember, one of the early projects we did, which was before COVID, we hooked up a fishing village in Tanzania with internet. And then we went away and then came back after COVID. And then we got all these beautiful lessons around how they use the internet, how the lights were helping the village. And that was obviously all solar powered as well. So that was like a really cool project. Um, but the Kenya project came about because we wanted to go back to the roots of connecting the unconnected, especially in Africa. That project in Tanzania was really special to all of us. It was an early stage in the business, and me personally, I just get super passionate about helping people because that's part of my DNA. So part of the overall plan is to do more of these projects. So building out proof of concepts for a commercial model using various different kinds of backhaul, various technologies to provide the coverage, whether that be Wi-Fi or cellular, where we have regulatory approval to do so, using solar power to power it, and yeah, incorporating that commercial model to kickstart the sharing economy. So what basically happened was Mickey was like, "Cool, let's pick this up again, guys. What are we going to do?" And I think Andy and I put up our hands pretty quickly to say, "Okay, we'll figure it out." Andy's the Africa guy. I live in Cape Town, so it's pretty easy for me to get up into Africa. To be honest, it is incredibly hard to fly to the States. When I saw you guys there last, I'm dead for like a week after flying for so long. Um, so yeah, Andy and I got busy trying to find a site. So we started looking around Kenya, partly because Andy and I grew up there when we were very young. Our father lives there, and it's a great environment to work with. The people there, especially. So what happened was we started looking for sites, and we found this guy Omar, and it turns out me and Andy volunteered for a farm that he was running when we were 17 years old. So we helped him install like irrigation and put that straw on the roof for, I can't remember what the roof was for, but we helped him do that. And today he's running this center for underprivileged children. So for us, it just all clicked really really easily, and he was obviously super keen to work with us and get his school connected, basically. So that's how it started. And then in terms of the objectives was to build out that commercial model, because the problem with Africa is charity is great, but it's not a long-term solution. Um, by building in the sharing economy and not just connecting the school, but allowing the people around the school to get connected and pay less for what they would with a normal cell provider, get faster speeds. It's just a win-win for everyone. And then the school earns a bit more money. And it's not, if it goes derelict and something breaks, it's just not going to get ignored because there's actually money flowing through the system. So yeah, that's why we did it, and that's how we found the Faith Junior Academy.
Can I jump in and ask a question about that? Um, because I think it's a very important model for things moving forward with trying to help nonprofits. Obviously, eventually you run out of somebody else's money, kind of like you alluded to there. And so I love the idea of having schools, nonprofits, things like that, host air nodes, be able to generate some revenue. Are these things that maybe the school in particular, but would it be something where the school or the mission or whatever it is owns the Aeronode, or is this something that an investor or World Mobile owns, and so the investor revenue still goes out and the school gets the hosting revenue, or do they has it been donated to them so that they're getting all parts of it?
Well, the school was very much a proof of concept, so it's kind of like a World Mobile project in that sense. But I think what you're alluding to is Hex Guardians and the sharing economy, right? Um, when we were installing this, we made sure that we also worked with local partners, right? So we're not doing the whole thing end to end. There was a local Kenyan ISP that runs a community ISP, not like a big telco or anything. He runs like a WISP for his little town, and we made sure that he was able to, like, we didn't tighten any screws, we didn't drill any holes. We made sure that this thing can be installed by a local partner, um, so that we can scale these kinds of projects. And the sharing economy, once we've expanded beyond schools, so I'm going to allude to, if you, I'll hint at it, but let's say there's a small farming community, right? Um, we'll after we've proven this technology stack and the software to open it up to the sharing economy, it will most certainly go that way. And Andy and I are looking at projects, to ramp that up.
And that's kind of a pointed question from my end, because some things that I've been thinking about, and I know there's some others as well that have had some ideas for doing some things in a nonprofit type variety. I'm trying to figure out, is this something where this should be an investor based thing or a donation type of a thing, so that the mission or the school or whatever can benefit the most from it. So just trying to figure out what kind of models you guys are using there and see if that's something we could further implement down the road.
Well, I don't know if it's been announced yet, but this idea of community-based connectivity using a low Earth orbit satellite for backhaul, where we don't have cellular or we don't have fiber, for example. We're giving it the name the Horizon node. Has that been talked about? Do you know? All right. Okay.
I think you might be dropping some mouthful. Keep talking. Keep talking. We're listening.
So I can tell myself off. But I presume that means it'll be synced up into some kind of operation air node mechanic, just like the other nodes, if regulatorily feasible, if that's a word.
Now, in fairness, we've heard them talk about low Earth orbit usage, so it's not anything brand new. I think the horizon, that might be the buzzword that people aren't familiar with yet. So hopefully Mike's not going to get you in too much trouble for that.
Marketing Mike, the best.
Speaking of marketing, I actually would love to see a follow-up video, maybe like a year later, of that school and all that impact and how it improved the actual local economy around it. In the video, when I watched it, I mean, it's clear that this air node possibly being owned from the sharing economy would you know give funding to the school, but then the way it gets the funding, as you mentioned right now, is from powering local businesses, local schools, whatever is around. And I like see this model working so well everywhere pretty much, not just in Africa, but I mean this can be literally applied to many different places around the world. And it could also work with different institutions like hospitals and libraries and whatever needs self-funding um, to be promoted through a sharing economy. I think it was a brilliant idea. So very exciting when I saw that video.
And Cal,
Go ahead, Bree, go
before
ahead.
we transition off, I just wanted to actually just jump into the video, right? For anybody who hasn't seen it. So if it's okay, I think it's roughly about 2 minutes. I'll go ahead and just briefly play that here for the audience.
We're here in Kenya today at Faith Junior Academy with a local community ISP to install a super low latency satellite internet service to provide Wi-Fi to the students and staff here. This school is a key part of the sharing economy model that we've created. The school becomes the air node host. They're the installer of the satellite backhaul. They're also providing a mesh network to further away properties so that they can sell home and business internet. All of these commercial opportunities will bring revenue into the school, which makes their operations much more sustainable long-term than having to be dependent on charitable donations. One of the parts of this project that we're doing, we've provided a whole load of tablets for the children and teachers to use, in which they'll be utilizing the Giggle Academy app. Giggle Academy provides a variety of interactive games and activities, helping children develop essential life and educational skills. But we're also going to leverage them for adult learning in the evenings and on the weekends. This is going to help the school raise some revenue, which is going to make maintaining and buying new tablets possible.
We are a community network based in Kilifi. We are excited to be partnering with World Mobile to bring connectivity to the rural villages.
Bringing the internet to this school will be of great importance. So it is going to help on the side of children to be able to access digital content, which is part of the curriculum, which will improve their learning.
We're also going to use them with an advocate we found in the local village who's interested in Web3. So we're going to be downloading some wallets and we're going to be seeing how much knowledge transfer we can do to him to teach him about blockchain, crypto, Web3, and potentially get him teaching other people in the village the benefits and the possibilities that this industry brings.
Asante sana.
I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it one more time. I love these real world impact stories. They really just cheer me up, and every time they put a smile on my face seeing the impact that you guys are having out there. And so kudos to you, and of course marketing Mike and the entire team for putting those together. And I would double down on what Cal said earlier. I'd love to see a follow-up there, of the impact and of what World Mobile has been able to do since the donation, etc. There's two brief questions. I know Cal's actually answered them. Thank you for doing that in the chat, but I want to just verbally put them up here. So this is coming in here from Mick Pete, asking if the Giggle Academy is free. And the answer to that, yes, it is free of charge. And then we've got Shock asking, and I think, Nick, you may have to jump in here and answer this one. How many kids, well, I don't think they donated any kids, but how many tablets were donated to the kids?
I got to be honest, I can't remember the exact number, but there was like 3 or 4 trips to the truck. I think there was like 18 or 20 tablets, and they all had like really thick, you might have seen them in the video, like really thick protectors on them. So yeah,
because we know kids can definitely be very destructive. So glad that you guys have
going back
thought.
to your point about the stories. So in that Tanzania fishing village, we had some ideas and we were told some of the things that people might use the internet for. But it was only when we came back we got the real stories. I don't know if everybody on the show knows, but that the main source of income for that village was selling salted fish. So they dry it out, salt it, and sell it, and that's worth, I think it was like 10% the price of fresh fish. And what people were doing after what we learned they were doing after COVID, they were selling fresh prawns to the hotels in Zanzibar, right? So they'd send pictures of the prawns to the buyer before he had to come to the village to pick them up. I think there were guys selling crabs to China as well. Like, the
Wow.
entrepreneurship in that part of the world is insane. And when we went to the school, we also asked them the same questions. How's this going to help? And you saw Omar on the video. He's like the nicest guy ever. Like, wow, like what a champion for running that school. But what we didn't know and what wasn't in the video was that part of the Kenyan school curriculum is actually online. So they'll do the printed curriculum, and then at the end it'll say, please visit this website to finish off. And they'd never been able to do that. So that's at least one thing we can kind of check off. But we are planning a trip in June to go back. So yeah, I personally want to make sure the tablets are still there, the electricity's still running, internet's still working properly, and then hear it from the horse's mouth. Because the whole point of a proof of concept is to test things out, figure out what you can do better, figure out what's working well, and rinse and repeat, and then scale that up.
Thank you. Again, I love to see the real world impact. So just want to take the moment to share that with any of the viewers that didn't get the opportunity to check that out. A lot of this content, if you guys are not already following the official World Mobile Twitter, check out the description down below. Make sure to give them a follow. Give Cal, Rob a follow. And of course, the World Mobile Alliance, anytime that we aren't streaming here, they're also hosting spaces. So if you guys are trying to get more updates here, trying to get more in tune, right? Or maybe just even network and just join the community, whether it's through AirNode operations, EarthNode operations, make sure to go ahead and follow and join those links down below. Cal, I think, well, I'm working on it, Rob. I'm working on it, Rob. Over to you.
Why don't we give Rob the chance to ask a question?
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I'm like, dang, let me stop. So anyway, go ahead.
Particular Rob, I guess. I was wondering something, Nick. You've been with World Mobile since the beginning. You've been involved in a lot of things that you've seen grow, from the various proof of concepts like you've spoken about, the fishing village, the just now with the school in Kenya. You've seen product launches, you've seen successes. What are some things that you've been directly involved with that if you were to beat your chest about anything and say, yeah, that's amazing and I helped to do that, what are some things that you're proud of that World Mobile's accomplished so far?
Racking my brain here. So I think I mentioned earlier the logo and seeing it on the Fulham team shirt was really mega. I'm very sad I never made it to a game to see it in person. Living in South Africa, it was an unnecessary expense. I think technically a cool project I kind of built from start to finish was the current travel eSIM website. So currently the core dev team is incorporating that into the new web app. So that'll be handed over, but it was a great lesson and project to get out the door, because getting stuff out quick is really important. And I'd say probably hiring great talent and getting them on the team. The amount of special people I've got to work with over the years has been probably maybe not a win, but like a real pleasure.
Connecting, not necessarily the unconnected, but connecting the what's the word that I'm looking for? Connecting the talent to World Mobile. I think that in itself is serving the mission there. It sounds like you're sort of the glue, to bring people in to find that talent. And I'm actually looking at a couple of really, really professional pictures here of a couple of soccer players wearing their Fulham jerseys here. How long, if you don't mind me asking, was that sort of deal or sponsorship with World Mobile for?
I mean, I wasn't involved in the deal, but if I remember correctly, it was front of shirt for the first year while they were in the championship. Then they got elevated into the premiership. Then we were side of shirt. And then I think the third and final year was training kit and the ladies team. Obviously, the premiership thing was it was great, but premiership sponsorships cost a lot more than the league down, the championship league.
Yeah. Again, very impressive to see. And I don't think there's many crypto projects that can say, right, that they've had a sponsorship or a deal like this. So for you to, develop the logo again, I think that was my favorite version of the logo. I love the colors. I still love it. Looks like Rob loves it too, which is why he's still rocking it in his background there. But just wanted to say kudos.
Thanks. Yeah, it took a while to do. Mickey's a perfectionist.
I love that jersey, by the way. I still wear it all the time. It's probably one of my favorite jerseys. It's funny. Every time I wear it, people always ask me, "Oh, are you a Fulham fan?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a World Mobile fan." It's right there. They don't. But even though the World Mobile's right in the front and it pops out, they still look at it as a soccer jersey. But Nick, you talked a little bit about being in charge of the eSIM website, and that website looks great, by the way. So good job on that. And I've been asked a few times. Maybe you're not in charge of this. Not in charge of this, but I've been asked a few times in DMs, and people have always asked me, when can we expect these travel eSIMs to expand to Africa? Like Nigeria specifically was one of the countries I was asked for probably like 2 weeks ago. So do you have any insight on that? Or are you guys planning on expanding the list of countries?
Tricky embargo dodging, I think I need to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been unpacking the commercial model for this product, and we certainly have the ability to increase the number of countries. I think at last count, for the same price, we could get 100 or more kind of countries. But I think the question we ask ourselves is, do people really want a global SIM, or the most of the time they travel to a country and they simply want to buy a package for that country, and maybe they're happy to throw away the eSIM. Now there is some very interesting things happening with the US product launch, which also has a travel eSIM feature. It'll start looking very similar to what's on the current eSIM site, but it will very rapidly expand into something that is very flexible.
Ooh, we like that. We like flexible. Speaking of flexible, I actually used the eSIM a few times, and I actually prefer when you guys offer it as a global SIM, because I was able to jump to a few different countries. Most of them were in Europe, but then some of them outside the European Union. So that was really cool. That I was able to just jump from country to country and just use the eSIM. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this product evolves moving forward.
Well, at very least, there will be more countries on the global package, and there will be more countries in general for regional and individual countries.
And if I may, we do have a brief question that came in from the audience about sort of the pricing, et cetera. And of course, again, you reserve the right to claim embargo. But this is coming in from Hitho Crips asking, when is more coming to the USA with more competitive pricing, for example, like family bundles?
I believe so. I'm not the man to speak to about commercials for the US product launch, but I can tell you that the work that's been done on the rewards program does provide, like, I think, pretty good value. They are working on a way to manage multiple SIMs, so it shouldn't take too much to figure out in time. These two will come together.
Thank you.
I don't think that's on the official roadmap, though. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. That's perfect.
So, Nick, I'm sorry, go for it.
Sorry, just real quick, if I can jump in and just let everyone know, if you go to the worldmobile.io website and you click shop for plans, in there is, if you click on the broadband facts, you can see that World Mobile is going to offer the family plans. You can actually add a few additional lines for a little bit cheaper. So just wanted to point that out.
And remember, the core mission here is it's privacy, it's empowering the community, the sharing economy. Yeah. So we need to get the product to market, get it in people's hands, and then we'll obviously listen to all this feedback, which is one of my core projects for the next quarter, is to have a really robust customer product feedback loop. So everyone that moans in the support ticket goes through me and then goes back to the product team.
That's awesome. Nick, I've asked this to a few other people before, including Josh, former co-founder, and now with Minutes Network. But just kind of curious from your perspective concerning World Mobile, what does success look like for World Mobile? You know, when you say, "All right, we have made it," and then to follow up with that, is there some specific thing that needs to get done for you to just throw your hands up in the air and say, "Yep, we've made it. We're done. We are successful." Are we there yet? Do you see it coming, or do a few things need to happen first for this to be declared by you success?
I mean, if I were to unpack the current work streams and what success means, we have a very, very exciting US cellular proposition. The ability to simply, issue a SIM, port your number across, do recurring billing, integrate that with the suite of crypto features that are being released. That's really mega. And simply getting that right will be a massive achievement for us. I think Zanzibar as a work stream, it's been a good project. It's been very difficult. And at the moment, it is a going concern and it is a growing business. And we started that so we could have hold of the reins and make sure it didn't flop, basically. If I look at Pakistan, I think that's been a great example of how we can work with a partner to scale beyond our resources and deliver internet to new areas. And what we've been talking about tonight, building a copy-paste model for local partners to bring connectivity and new sites to the sharing economy. I think that's going to really rev up the sharing economy, which for me would be, I think, a clear sign of success, is the sharing economy revving up and going big. And I think, people being able to have access to the blockchain data and build things on top of that is also going to be really cool. And I think once we've got these commercial channels and the community in the sharing economy revving up, I think that's really exciting.
I love that, because you didn't just give a one topic kind of an answer, a general kind of a thing. Success is 1 million customers or whatever it is. There's so many different things going on with World Mobile. We talk all the time on these shows and these spaces about, sometimes it's hard to keep up because you guys are doing so many different things in so many locations. And so I love that you were able to break that down and say, for the USA, it's this. For Zanzibar, we'd like to see more of this. For Pakistan, for the different partners, and then, like you said, the cookie cutter approach to sharing with partners, as opposed to controlling and doing a total World Mobile deployment on your own. So thank you for that. That was an amazing answer.
And I can't overemphasize the cookie cutter template that we need to make for Africa. I mean, I'm talking, we need to include the drill bits to plug in the specific bolt for the specific bracket that goes on the roof. Like that's the level of detail we're getting down to.
So
I apologize.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what's next on the horizon for you? I mean, you've talked about deployments, you've talked about global eSIMs and things, but beyond that, is there anything that's coming that you can share, or things that you're looking at, or putting some tweaks on right now?
So if I remember correctly, the staking's been in final testing now and going through the audit process for quite some time. I know what our internal deadline is. I'm not going to get in trouble. Obviously, the deadline was before, but yeah, audits are a real thing, unfortunately, and nobody on our side is prepared to launch something that doesn't pass an audit, I'm afraid. And I think, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited to get staking back. I think it's something I've missed personally as a mobiler, and yeah, it feels like the early part of the story. Remember when everyone was rushing to get early staking rewards phase one? It's like we need some of that back. The Scan for Points app is in staging now, so it's an evolved version of what there was before on the Android devices. Looks a little bit cleaner, new branding. What else is that? Yeah, we got some new badges and achievements and things like that. Then, yeah, I think we've talked enough about Africa expansion. More of these projects like the Faith Academy, and the big one is the US cellular launch. And then, yeah, I mean, maybe looking further afield, I kind of touched on it earlier. It's the on-chain stuff. It's like unlocking the data out there so people can build stuff on top of our chain using APIs, building dashboards, and having access to that. And I think having a great community unlocks a huge potential. I mean, geez, I don't know who it is, but somebody's made like a merch store for World Mobile, and it's great. So if people can knock out a merch store, and somebody built that token migration tool as well, so like the fact the community can just swoop in and build stuff and make us go wow is limitless. And then lastly, probably Hex Guardians. Don't know exactly, where that sits in terms of oomph, but I think it's also going to be really interesting seeing people come in and take ownership for like that part of the world.
I wanted to make.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say there's a comment I'm looking at here from Mick, and he asked, "What is the total dollar amount required to get the school up and running?" So something like the Faith Academy. Just kind of wondering, as you're looking for partners that want to maybe help run this, if people want to get involved directly, maybe they don't want to start their own foundation or do something that they don't want to try and pool money from a group. They want to say, "Hey, I have $1,000 or $5,000 I want to give to help go." What can people do to get involved with maybe that future cookie cutter approach to something like the Faith Academy to help get something like that going?
Geez, I didn't want to say I don't know on this show. It's a question that's come up before. How do you fractionalize a project? Because in our model, that would, it would be a remote host operator kind of scenario, right? So if somebody has, a little bit and they want to pull that together to be a remote host, and they need to find an operator and some local partner to install it, I would imagine that sits in the product roadmap on how to do that. But it's very tricky technically to do, and there's probably going to be some regulation around that hoops would need to jump through. And unfortunately, as I mentioned, telco is a regulated space, and so is financial regulation as well.
Yeah, very valid. There's two questions that have come in here from the community that I want to take the opportunity to just briefly touch on. The first is coming in here from Roger De Filippo, who's asking if there's going to be a larger node expansion outside of Reno in the USA. And he's also asking about the iOS app, which I think you just sort of briefly touched on there. But I think you mentioned scan for points in particular. But if you're able to share anything about expansion and then the iOS app.
I think the short answer in the USA is yes. I know of some projects that are in the pipeline, and there's some interesting developments. The expansion in the US is linked to telecommunications licenses to operate in the license area, and also the ability to either use or own licensed spectrum as a communication frequency between the antennas and the device. So we obviously have people that want to expand the network. We have deals with people that can help us with those things. And I'm pretty. We've got a MAV 100 in Washington State. They're kind of our first proof of concept of a partner kind of taking control of one area, and they've handled the licenses and the rollout there. They've been fantastic. So there are new areas for sure. Definitely not saying where.
Mike, if you're tuning into the stream, man, you're killing us here, man. Let us have a little bit of fun. All right. Second question here, coming in from Kristen Bowman, who's been a longtime supporter here of the channel and a big member of the World community. So it looks like she was scanning the website, and quote for quote states here, your personal data secured with encryption and decentralized storage. And then her question comes in asking, does this mean things like my photos, personal information, etc., from her phone, right, does not go or does not, hold on, let me just make sure I understand here. So yeah, I think her question is more or less about storage of data, I believe, personal data, when it comes to the blockchain, because I think that's when this particular question had come up. So can you maybe share, what you guys are doing in order to make sure that things are private and actually decentralized?
Okay, well, A, I'm not on the security team, or B, on the core telco network team. But on one hand, the accounts that we issue are currently secured by a magic link. And in the app, we've had the self-sovereign accounts as well. So in that case, we're not storing any of the account data for those accounts. And, our mission is privacy and self-sovereignty on identity and personal information. So within the rule of law and regulation, we will provide, we'll always strive to provide the most that we can.
Got it. Thank you.
I think it also gets interesting with the Earth node operators as well. When that network lights up and you can run your VPN through your Earth node operators, that provides a level of decentralization and privacy that you're not going to get through a standard VPN provider.
Got it. This was not staged. Obviously, we're probably going to be embargoed here, but you're talking about Earth nodes and their services. Anything that you can share about timelines, expectations to be able to get those up and running from a community's perspective?
I can't remember the details, I'm afraid. I need to refer back to Frank, our product manager.
How convenient. How convenient.
I will say that if you are an EarthNet operator, there was an amazing call on Friday morning that they've posted to the private EarthNode channel in Discord. So you can rewatch the call if you haven't. But they came out. I mean, it was, Cal, you were there. It was very, very high energy. People were floating after hearing what they talked about and how things are going. It's still probably going to be a little while before Earth nodes are fully all operational, running the network without testing, but it's coming. and again, Mickey and Blockchain Dolphin, those guys, and Manny were on there, and it was a very, very positive, high energy call. So if you are an EarthNet operator and you have access to the Discord, go watch that call. If you don't have access yet, get a hold of Manny, the Web3 cat, to say, hey, here's my EarthNode I need into this channel, because you're missing some really good updates if you have an EarthNode and you're not following along.
Yeah, I would add I've been on some of those EarthNode calls, and they sound an awful lot like internal calls.
So it sounds like there might be some alpha there. Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Big time alpha. I haven't slept since. That's how excited I was.
Awesome to hear it. Hitho Crips, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, stating that the Earth nodes are a little bit pricey, but I think that that's a testament, right, to the value that they provide and the fact that they're in demand. It's basic laws of supply and demand, right? If they were cheap, that would, I think, be a reflection of their value. And the fact that they're not cheap means to me that the people that do own them, again, keep in mind there's only 1,000 currently available. They don't want to sell them because, again, they see the future value in operating the Earth node. So it's a I don't want to say it's a tough pill to swallow, but it speaks for itself. So hopefully, Hitho, if you are trying to get one, you're able to. If not, maybe you can, go in and potentially, split one with somebody. But I think that the value does speak for itself. Again, with people like Nick here breaking down all this information. We've just watched some of their marketing content, the impact that they have, not just in Kenya, Zanzibar, Pakistan, Reno, Nevada, the expansion in the USA, all the services that they currently offer outside of the phone plans, internet services, et cetera. Like, there's a lot going on here, and to be able to be a contributor to that, and for the community to step up and, purchase them and get them to the price that they're at, I think, again, speaks volumes about their reassurance in what World Mobile is doing. I do want to take the opportunity here, and this is sort of an off-topic question from DNOT, longtime viewer and supporter here on the channel, asking about any potential integrations or maybe just collaborations, right, with the Midnight blockchain. And maybe we just sort of zoom out a little bit, in terms of partners. Who is World Mobile looking to partner with from a blockchain perspective, if you can share anything about that?
Well, all I know is we went cross-chain recently, and the token team and the guys will partner with anybody that can add value to the business and the community. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm not super deep onto the token side.
No, that is okay. And I just want to reiterate that, right, for the community here who's watching. Nick is obviously, jumping on here. We've had a couple of questions that were scripted. We're trying to do our best here to provide you guys with as much content as possible. But as he's mentioned, he's focused here on being the glue, the network guy, but then he's also worked with the eSIM website. And then, as he's mentioned before, some of the logo and some of the marketing stuff there as well. So we're trying to do our best here, but it's completely okay if you're not able to answer every single question. And I think that's why it's important for the viewers here. If you're not already in the Discord, please check out that description down below. Join the Discord, where you can actually get direct access to other members that might be able to better answer your questions.
Well, I think that's a testament to how big World Mobile is and everything that World Mobile is doing. Is that you have a co-founder who's on here, who's on multiple teams and involved with a large amount of everything, but again, there's so many moving parts to it, and it also shows how varying the community is, where people are involved in specific things. It's really, really hard. Cal tries, I try very, very hard to be involved in everything World Mobile, and you just can't. There's always going to be something that's going to come up that you can't. So a lot of people have focuses in slightly different areas, but it's all encompassing within World Mobile. And again, that's just a testament to how grand World Mobile is, everything they're doing and they're building, and how it can capture a lot of people with different interests, different focuses, and different goals. So it's one of these. It's not a one size fits all kind of a thing. It's not a 10,000 PFP NFT drop, and that's the end of it, right? This is so much bigger on so many levels. And so I love the thing of, I don't know, I can't keep up with that, or I'm not a part of that team because I have 95 other things I'm doing personally. So actually that's a great answer. So thank you, Nick.
And I love this here, Tom, passing on his Earth node to his kids. To hit though, I know you said that it's a bit difficult for you to afford one. I understand that everybody's in a different situation. I totally respect that. But again, this is the kind of community that we have here. This is why the value of the Earth nodes are so high, because people like this are not going to sell that. Like Rob said, it's not a 10K PFP collection. Like people are looking to let this be a part of their legacy. And so to anybody that does own an Earth node, I would just say tap yourself on the back. We have Enzo Nodes here who has been on the channel operating 5 Earth nodes. Again, people very bullish here on World Mobile. I love the fireworks there, Cal.
Well, and
Oh,
Fareed,
yeah.
some other time I can go back into my 10-minute rant about the value of these Earth nodes and also measuring the cost of them based on different metrics. I mean, you've heard me do that a couple of times, but it's, if you
Yeah.
look at the dollar amount versus the ADA amount versus the value of ADA, there's so many different things to look at. So it might seem expensive on one end, but historically and comparatively, it might not be. So there's a lot to look at there. I mean, obviously, it's nothing to shake a stick at. There's it's a high price, but relative to what? And so I definitely, I mean, we're all Earth node operators. We're all very, very excited about the possibility. We see the vision on it. So it's something that we're going to be very, very in support of, obviously.
I'd love
And
an Earth node.
not only that, but someone just, sorry for, we can't hear you, by the way, you're on mute, but someone just mentioned that the Earth nodes are undervalued, actually, not overvalued. And I agree with him. When you're running like the access layer of possibly the biggest decentralized telecommunication network, and when you're offering all the services that are coming, storage as a service, VPN as a service, like offering AI services, if you really like, when Rob talks about it, I mean, he calls them the 10-minute rants, but I see a lot of value in these rants, because you start to realize how undervalued these Earth nodes actually are. And because there's only 1,000 of them, it makes you want to get an Earth node ASAP. So Rob, kudos when you do these rants. The community really appreciates it.
Yeah, I definitely do agree there. And Kristen, don't feel bad. I mean, there's only a limited supply. I wish everybody could have an Earth node. I'm sure that a lot of people want one that aren't able to get one, but I'm sure that you can get a Spark Air node, right? And again, that's what I love about World Mobile. There's a lot of ways to contribute to the sharing economy. That said, gents, I want to be very, very respectful here of Nick's time. I don't want to put any words in your mouth, Nick, but I also realize that you have a family. It's the weekend. I'm sure that you probably also want to go outside and get some sun. So maybe, we give everybody here one sort of last round of questions here, and then maybe we take 1 or 2 questions from the community, and then we try to let you go here. And so I'm going to be scanning the live chat. If there's any really solid questions that pop up, I'll make sure to go ahead and drop those in here. But having said that, maybe Cal or Rob has a question that they want to sort of kick off with as we do get ready to wind things down. Again, if you guys are enjoying the content, please smash that thumbs up. It really does make a difference here. Someone like Nick taking the time here, an hour of us literally grilling him here. I've learned a lot about him, and I've obviously seen him and his twin, right? But I've never had the opportunity to engage and do a deep dive like this. And I know backstage you said that you're enjoying this, Nick. And to be honest, you're a natural. You're very relaxed. Your answers very, very what is the word? Informative, but like they're very direct. And again,
Polished.
not a lot of
very polished.
Exactly. Thank you there, Rob. Not a lot of people are able to jump on here on such short notice, be able to answer not just the scripted questions that we've planned, but even some of the questions from the community. So just want to double down to say thank you. You're doing a really, really great job here for a live stream. So maybe, you think about becoming a YouTuber. If you ever do, let me know, and I'm sure that we can collaborate in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Of course. All right. I think we are going to get ready for some of these last minute questions. Y'all are both muted. So I'm okay. Maybe do I just jump in there?
I have a very selfish one. Nick, I haven't seen you since 2023, when you came to the US. So I'm wondering, are we going to see you at Rare Evo 2025 with the World Mobile team?
No, I'm having a baby in a month's time. So my travel time is going to be very restricted, I'm afraid. However, I am going back up to Kenya in 6 weeks' time to go check on the Faith Academy.
That's as good of an excuse as any to not travel halfway across the world for a weekend conference. But you please know you will be missed. I was looking forward to seeing you there, but I'm very very happy for you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. In terms of last questions for me, I want to maybe just shift gears a little bit and talk about challenges. Right now, what are some of like the biggest hurdles or sort of the main priorities that you guys are trying to tackle from World Mobile's perspective?
The quarterly planning document on my desk.
Can you scan and email that to me, please?
I mean, we talked about it. The big thing is the subscribers on the US network. There's the World Mobile Chain and unlocking the data so people can build rad stuff. There's a Hex Guardians project and the EarthNode project, basically.
Perfect, nice and succinct. Cal,
And I
any
would
last?
probably say, as a community, I'm sure you hear a lot of us saying, soon it's coming, audits, yeah. And Mickey's also said many times how hard everyone's working. And yeah, it's felt hardest in the team. We want to push stuff out to the public and community. We want to get products shipped. And there's always improvements, and part of it is certainly deciding about delivering something that is better versus quick. But that's probably the biggest challenge we have, is trying to make everybody happy.
Yeah, and I realize this as a creator, it's nearly impossible to do so. And so I think the methodology that you guys have taken, which is to measure twice and cut once, benefits the majority. And at the end of the day, right, that's I think who you need to satisfy is the majority. You're always going to have the one or two people on the outsides, asking about why isn't this being done? Why this? Why that? At the end of the day, you guys are the experts, right? We are the community. We're here to support in any way, shape, or form. I realize that people have obviously put their finances in terms of investments into what you guys are doing. But at the end of the day, you guys have to make the tough decisions. And as long as they benefit the majority, I believe that we are all in support of that. All right, Cal, I believe if you've got any questions, you're more than welcome to go ahead and post them now. And I'm not seeing anything crazy coming in here from the chat. And so again, just want to remind the viewers here, if there's anything specific that you guys have, feel free to drop them down below. And I'll go ahead and pass this off to Nick as we get ready to wind things down.
Yeah, I just want to extend my thanks to Nick for taking the time. I know it's nighttime. I know you have a baby coming, so we are really grateful and appreciative for you to be here and for you to share all the information. And your hard work and World Mobile's hard work is exemplified. What we've seen, like all the stuff you guys are, all the many hours that you guys have putting in, and the community really, really appreciates you and the rest of the team of with everything you guys are doing. Your hard work is also noticed by big players in their space. We're seeing like CZ retweeting World Mobile stuff with the Giga Academy. We're seeing him, following both of the accounts now. So that's really showing how like big and how big the World Mobile team is, and the sharing economy is actually growing. So speaking of community, what can we do to support the World Mobile team moving forward?
Yeah, well, thank you. So, yeah, you saw with the Faith Junior Academy the good relationship we have with CZ, the retweet, and it's really great to do a project that is so well intentioned, and then getting good love from CZ, and we'll only do more of these projects, and with more partners, I guess together we're unstoppable, right? But I think at the moment we're probably going to be looking for more local partners to help us build out these Africa projects. So like the local ISP that was in the video, that guy, he people like him that can help us install, maintain, and go out to site, make sure these whether it's a community farm or school, stay connected. And yeah, just get in the socials and help us spread the word. Right? It's half the world is unconnected. It's not fair. We have these huge incumbents that make it difficult and expensive for new people to enter the market and try to solve the problems that are there. So yeah, spread the word. Together we're unstoppable.
I love that.
Second
I
time.
love that. Sound like someone else that we know very well here. I've got two very brief questions here, and then we're going to go ahead and wind down the show again. Huge thanks to Nick here for making the time to join us. We've got Shock asking, when Africa meetup?
I love that question. That's the first time I've been asked that. I know there's a Cardano coffee shop in Cape Town. I've been meaning to go, and I'd love to do something. I don't know how many people are in South Africa.
Shock?
I mean,
If
when you
you're
say
in South
Africa
Africa,
meetup, I mean Africa's pretty big. Like, where should we
yeah,
do it?
right.
It's funny. My sister-in-law, she was in Cape Town, I think 8 months ago. So I did send her to the Cardano coffee shop, and it was unfortunately closed. So yeah, I don't know if it's still open or not. But when she went, it was closed.
Noted.
Yeah, it's a great question. Let's try to figure out where to do it.
Okay. Look, so Shock is actually in Zanzibar. That's
Ah,
very cool. So maybe y'all could do a meetup at a shop where there's some air notes set up and sort of give us your experience there. But Shock, thank you for tuning in. I mean, this is what I love about crypto in general and just world mobile. Like, we're talking about what you guys are doing out there in Zanzibar, and then we've got somebody from Zanzibar actually tuning in here watching. The day and age that we live in, it's so crazy how much of an impact we can have through this thing that we call the internet. And again, the fact that world mobile is helping to make that accessible to millions of people that have never had that ability is what really makes you guys stand out here and makes me bullish on what you guys are doing here. And so I believe, before we just get your final thoughts, Nick, and your sort of key takeaways, there's one last question that has come in here from, let's see here. How did I miss that? Oh, it was from RV. It was about CZ. Asking if you guys had actually talked to CZ. So maybe CZ sent y'all some DMs that you can share with us. If not, of course, that's okay as well.
Right. Well, if you guys don't know, there's yeah, there's been some chats.
Okay, I'll take that.
And
Hopefully Mike doesn't.
BNB chain is one of the chains that we use on World Mobile Token already. And yeah, Mickey and the team have chatted to CZ for sure.
Awesome. I love it. And it looks like RV also loves you. All right. Last thing for you here, Nick. If there's anything that we've missed, or maybe something that like you think that needs to be, restated, this is your opportunity. Give us your final and closing thoughts. Again, thank you for your time.
Cool. Thank you very much for having me. I think the final thoughts are, yeah, just keep a watch on these proof of concepts and the rollout in Africa. I'm really excited about it. It's really hot. It's really sunny and get sunburn every time, but I love it more than anything. And this last project, the looks on the kids' faces was amazing. It made my heart melt. But yeah, you all know the mission. Connect the unconnected, build out these business models that work and scale. Join the socials, hit retweet, keep an eye out for Hex Guardians and Horizon nodes and APIs and access to the blockchain that will kickstart the sharing economy.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Nick Soper. Dropping a lot. I feel like this was still alpha. There's a lot that was embargoed, but like for me, again, this was a fresh experience. I feel like I know you now. You know, I've obviously seen pictures of you, your twin. Um, but this was such a personal experience. Just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure that everyone here who's tuned in here has appreciated this as well. And hopefully, right, they've been able to get some value. That said, we're going to let Nick go here, enjoy some time with his family, enjoy the rest of his weekend. And as we get ready to wind things down, I do want to give Cal and Rob an opportunity to give us their closing thoughts. Again, Nick, thank you so much. Look forward to doing this with you, hopefully in the near future. Take care and say hi to the rest of the team on our behalfs. Thank you again.
Cool. Thank you all for having me. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So Nick is officially gone. That was a really, really good experience. Like I said, and I love the question that you asked, Rob, about him coming to the USA, because I felt like that would have been the perfect opportunity to be able to like shake his hand and actually talk and sit down with him. We've done that with Emmanuel, Mickey, of course. Mike actually came to the USA for, I want to say it was Rare Evo, I believe. Or was that a CNFT con?
NFT Las Vegas.
NFT
Yeah.
XLV, yeah.
Yeah. And so clearly they make the effort to join some of these events, but the Soper twins, I have not had the opportunity to meet and definitely look forward to doing so, especially after this particular live stream. So as we get ready to wind things down here, I want to give the both of you gentlemen the opportunity to maybe hash out anything that stood out to you guys in terms of final thoughts, and we'll go ahead and wind up the stream.
I'm gonna jump first and keep it like very brief and short, but I just wanted to extend my thank you again to Nick for taking the time and spreading all the knowledge and all the stuff that he's done in Africa. It's just very, very amazing to see it happen and unfold. And these are the type of things that got me involved in World Mobile when I saw the fishing village, and I'm now seeing World Mobile still pushing in Africa and providing connectivity to the schools that are in need, and all the villages and other places that are disconnected from the world. I mean, he said like people in Africa, they're entrepreneurs, they want this really badly, and giving them this opportunity. And I know firsthand what the internet can do for people. I mean, if the internet in my office goes out right now, I'm like, out of work. So I understand the importance of the internet. And another thing that I want to mention is it's how I've met Nick in person, and I've met his brother Andy, and I felt the family experience. World Mobile treats everyone like family, and this is why Mickey says together we're unstoppable. We're all one big family. And you guys seen how can I put this, like how like human like Nick is, like he's like true to his to his belief. And like it's really, I really enjoyed this conversation. It was very special to me. And again, thank you to Nick for taking the time, and also thank you to the rest of the people that always tune in to our spaces. I want to remind everyone to obviously follow Rob, follow Fareed on all the socials, and that's about it that I can think of right now. I'm sure there's a lot more things I want to say, but I want to make sure I respect everyone's time. I want
to say thanks to you too, though, right? Because without you and some of the planning here, we would not have had him here as a guest. So at the end of the day, the community is what makes this what it is, and everybody contributes, in one way, shape, or form. And that's a huge contribution from you there, Cal, to be able to reach out and get him on here.
Well, it's not me, it's the actual team. And this team always puts the community first. It's a big company, and it's not every day when you can like send a DM to one of the co-founders and he can like spend like an hour on a Saturday night with the pregnant wife, sitting here and like explaining to us like what he's been doing. So it's special. This you can see the team puts the time in. So yeah, it's not me, it's the team.
Very selfless of you to say. I still think you deserve some kudos. Again, for getting him here, that was a huge one, and I definitely enjoyed this. Shock asking about Horizon nodes. Join the Discord, Shock. I'm sure that you'll be able to get some alpha there. And again, wanted to say thanks to everybody here. Javier asking about a merch store coupon code. Join the Discord. I'm sure that Manny can hook you up there too. All right, Rob, give us your final thoughts.
I have like 2 weeks worth of World Mobile wardrobe, and I'm telling you right now, I want a merch store coupon code. I would love one. I'm looking forward to the new rebrand merch store that's coming out. We saw some teasers with Manny and with Mickey in Paris this past week. James Bowater, Charles Hoskinson was there. In these photos, you know, they're wearing the new branded hats that they made up just for that Paris Blockchain Week. Going back to Nick, like Cal said, we had the ability to meet both Nick and Andy in 2023, and what you saw here was just that's who he is. That's the kind of person, the gentle, sweet, kind, just loving person that came out in these calls. You could just sense it, you know, and that's what he's like in person. You know, talking to what Cal said about this team and how they just love and support each other. You know, when we were in Vegas in 2023 for that NFT Las Vegas, that in particular, because they stayed in a few different places. Every morning, Cal and I were there helping run the booth, and we watch these guys walk in, or they'd come in from, you know, some of them would come in, others would come from a meeting or something. And when there's 7 of them that were there, and when they got together, like literally, they went and just gave hugs to every single person. Like nobody left out. And it's like they just literally saw each other 6 hours ago. These guys, they work hard, but they do it because they're so committed to each other and they're committed to this cause that it comes out of them, that love and that desire for excellence for what they're doing. And so we say it all the time, how hard these guys work and what great people they are, and how there's just an example, living example of who they are as people. But then you get to see people like Nick here in person, and that just backs up those claims because this is the type of person that he is. And honestly, I love what they're doing with the Faith School and the Giggle Academy and how this is coming about. But honestly, I'm really, really excited to see that it's Nick and Andy that are pushing it, because we've met these guys, we know these guys, and it just, while it would be a good thing and it would fit in line with World Mobile, I think it's just magnified because of who Nick and Andy are as people. It just runs right in line with their personality, their character, and I feel like this is a perfect task for these guys to head up and these guys to initiate. So very, very happy to learn more about this, to see this, and again, just to know that they're involved in it. I want to, Freed, I know that you're at the controls here, but if you could just scroll up the comments, there's a comment from Darko about you, and I'd like you to post that if you would. You're really humble. You wouldn't have done this otherwise, but Fareed is living proof how you can grow your channel by giving quality content over the last few years, and we see that. This is why we aren't doing these live streams. We have our own channel. We have our own recording equipment to do things, and you're going to see more things coming out on our channel. But there's a reason we do live streams with Fareed on Fareed's channel. It's because of what he's done, how he's built it up, how he hosts, how he handles everything. Fareed, you're amazing. You do such an incredible job. You're dedicated and committed to your community. You're dedicated the greater crypto community, but as well as Cardano and Bitcoin. You find the perfect things to highlight. You give incredible takes all the time. You operate Cardano stake pools. You are involved in other projects. You're an EarthNode operator for World Mobile. You have your hands in a lot of things, but it doesn't deter you from giving quality content. And I just want everyone to really know just how hard you work, what you do, and there's projects, Fareed, without giving too much away. There's projects that we've talked about doing that we haven't had the ability just to get done yet. And every week you apologize. Hey guys, I'm sorry I haven't gotten this done yet. We know how busy you are. We don't hold that over your head because we know how much you give to everything. And so folks, if there's a way, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you have some free Cardano, I'd love it. If especially Fareed's new stake pool, it's small. We want him to make blocks every single epoch. So if you could go to that DApp pool that has like 1.2 or 2 million or whatever it is, throw some ADA at it. Let's get this production, because Fareed needs to be doing this full time. The quality is so good, the content is so good. Fareed needs to be doing this full time without any other hindrances, and we can help support that. So please, if you have the opportunity to do that, and then for Cal, for Clover, this guy lives, breathes, eats, sleeps World Mobile, and you don't see anybody in the community that delivers more consistent World Mobile talk than Cal. Yeah, that's why you were one of the first people they went and handpicked as an ambassador, and it's why everyone turns to you and looks to what you're doing, because you're so involved. You lined up this call today. This is, in my opinion, up until this rant right here, this has been my favorite space that we've had. We've had Mickey on here. I love Emmanuel. Emmanuel Gratch is one of my dearest friends in life. We have Emmanuel on here. This has been my favorite space. So glad that you were able to line this up and bring this, and then take charge with it. It was an amazing job, and this is what our community is like. And I'm so glad to be on stage with the two of you, because of everything that you bring, the excellence, the quality, and just I'm kind of the flamethrower of the group. I tend to say these wild things, right? You guys are the consistent, the level, the mature, the characters that you guys are, right? Where I'm the wild card, but I love it, and I know that people appreciate it. I get DMs from people all the time just talking about what a great show that was, and asking personal. I don't give too much away, but they ask about you guys and how things are going, and people care about you guys. They love you guys, and you do such an amazing job for everybody. It's recognized by World Mobile. It's recognized by Josh from Minutes Network. It's recognized by this community. And I don't think you guys get enough praise. And so that's why I like to overdo it sometimes, because it's very, very important that people know how great both of you are, and how much better everything is because you guys are here on stage shaking the lead. So thank you guys very much. Cal, thanks again for getting Nick here. Again, this has been my favorite show, and I'm very, very motivated for what's coming. And it's because of doing things with guys like you, and it's because following the footsteps of guys like Nick. And so thanks again, you guys, for all this. And everyone, if you're watching, make sure that you're paying attention to these two, because they're going to provide you the best information consistently, the best quality all the time. So thank you guys very much.
I don't want to, that was the perfect ending to the show, but I have to give you some kudos too, Rob. And I say this because there's things going on behind the scenes, right, that people don't know about, but that you and I know about, right? And you are a very selfless person. And I just want to reiterate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. You've pushed me to be a better person. You pushed me to be a better creator, right? And yes, sometimes it's difficult, right, to listen and to sort of iterate on feedback. But I know that anytime that you make a suggestion, it's for the greater good of what we're doing here as the Alliance. And so I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to you, right, as well. You've been an inspiration to me. You've been an inspiration to members here within the community. You never shy away, right, from stating what's on your mind, even, right, when it gets you in hot water. And so that is something that you need to continue to do. And the way that you just literally broke that down, again, I don't want to add anything else to that. I just want to say thank you to anybody who supported me here on the channel. It means a lot. I do want to go full time. And so, moving forward, I want to just think and implement ways to be able to do that. The same goes for you too, Cal. Again, I feel like this is not just one person doing everything. Everybody has come together to do something, right? And so I just want to take the opportunity to say that thank you to the both of you guys for being the glue in times where I've had to step away, in times where I've had to deal with stuff in real life. It really does mean a lot. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing the both of you. I know I'll see Rob in Vegas, but hopefully, Cal, I'll be able to see you there, even if it's not at Rare, right? Maybe we just take a drive and come see you, since you're not too far away from there. But this really does mean a lot. And Rob, thank you so much there for the kind words. My day is made. My day is made. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not already followed the both of these guys, please check out the description down below. If you guys want more World Mobile content, if you've appreciated content just like this, smash that thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, join the Discord, follow the WMA or the World Mobile Alliance. The links are down below. I have to second that this was definitely by far one of my favorite streams too. And I think it's because of how laid back Nick was. Like he was himself. You know, he literally came as is. We were having a conversation about his upcoming baby, you know, backstage before we hit go live. And we ended by talking about that too. And like he came in here as an open book. And so yeah, this one definitely goes down in history here. Looking forward to seeing maybe his other half, right? On the show here too. But this was a good one here and a wonderful way to wrap up here my Saturday afternoon. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the both of you guys, to anybody who's tuned in here. There's so many people. I cannot list every single one of them, but I try to do my best here to highlight the comments, etc. That'll bring us here to the end for today's stream. As always, if you guys have enjoyed it, please smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you haven't already, go ahead, join the conversation, leave a comment down below. Look forward to seeing you guys, not next week, but the following. But if you want to get in touch and stay up to date with World Mobile, make sure to follow the Alliance, where they will be having streams, or not streams, X Spaces on any other time that we are not streaming here. Again, that'll do it here. And as always, we'll see you all in the next one. Cheers, everybody. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.